husband Eric, and today we are going to talk about the sound of silence. And yes, there is a sound, and it is very powerful and meaningful to your dog, and what or how to make your silence powerful to your dog. So we had a question that was with their dog. So he's fine when it's just the family at home, but when they have company over, he started being very destructive, running around acting like crazy, trying to hump the other dog, and generally just acting a fool.
Acting a fool.
Acting a fool. So my suggestion was to try sitting on the leash. It's called Settle the Dog, and I know we've talked about this before on Facebook Live, but we've never really gotten into the details of why we do this or recommend this, and what it means to your dog on the reciprocating end of that action. So one book that we are reading right now as a team is an awesome book. It's Let Dogs Be Dogs, whoop, whoop, there we go, by Brother Christopher and Mark Goldberg. It's a phenomenal book about just getting down to the basics of what a dog really is, and it's okay to love them and even treat them like children per se, but you still have to let them be a dog. And I just love how they really just break it down so simple. One of my favorite acronyms is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. I like things broken down to like stupid mentality, because then I can understand it. I'm a mom. I ain't got time to process stuff. Make it simple. And I just love that. I love that. So they talk about a vow of silence in this book, and so I thought all of this is just coming together, and it just sounds like a topic that you guys could benefit from. So we're going to talk about this. And so to refresh your memory, for those of you that have maybe heard our previous lives but don't remember, Settle the Dog is a simple yet powerful exercise where you take the leash, so your dog has a leash on in the home, in the living room when you have company over. Sometimes we actually recommend starting this without any company over. Just sitting on the leash while you're watching TV or reading a book, or reading to the kids, whatever. Just sit on the leash. And the purpose is to give them enough leash to lay calmly at your feet, not on your feet, but at your feet, but not too far where they can, kind of wander away and still be getting into stuff. So just having them settle at your feet. And what we're trying to teach them with this exercise is you're not going to talk to them, you're not going to touch them, and you're not going to look at them. What? Isn't that like all the reasons we get dogs, is to love on them, talk to them like a baby, and squeeze their squishy cheeks while we kiss them on their face? And that's okay sometimes, and some dogs just don't like that stuff, so don't force it on them. But sometimes you just have to let them survive on their own. Like, they have to be able to exist without you. Some dogs become so dependent on their owners that they have separation anxiety because they don't know how to survive without you telling them how to be calm. Maybe aggression or reactivity because you've unknowingly coddled them to the point that they feel like they're the king of the house, and now you're sitting on their throne, the couch, and you don't have any right to be up there, and you're walking into their living room that is their kingdom, and it doesn't even matter that you paid for this house, but they just get too much ego in their head because of how we've communicated with them. So this exercise is a great way to just let a dog be a dog, and it's super beneficial to the humans as well. We were just talking about this, like, people pay hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars, to go to like silent retreats where they just focus on mindfulness and just shutting out the world, turning off technology, and grounding ourselves as humans.
I think I'm ready to start saving up.
It sounds so silly and yet so big. Like, you don't have to pay money to turn all these things off. You just got to discipline yourself to do it. You just got to do it. But we can do this with our dogs, and we can give them that mindfulness that we all so desperately deserve, with the pings of our iPhone, mom, 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 dad, 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 constantly being called, all the demands from emails and everything. Nothing lets our brain rest for more than a few minutes at a time. It's constantly working. So Settle the Dog. We basically cut off all communication, all forms, body language, visual, auditory, no communication, sitting on that leash, no spoken word, no verbal contact, and no physical petting or touching. If the dog jumps on you, I suggest to take your forearm and gently swipe them off your leg. Don't use the palm of your hand because you are rewarding them then, and that's in a whole nother topic about why. But just swiping them off gently and just getting them back down on the ground and then ignoring them again. Even when you're swiping them, you're trying not to make eye contact or look at them. Just shrug them off like, nope, this is not the time for that right now. And you're gonna see a little bit of confusion. You're probably gonna be confused at first too, to be honest. You might see a little bit of confusion in your dog, or you might be thinking, why did I listen to Crystal and Eric? This is crazy. I don't know why I'm doing this. But give it a few minutes, maybe 10, maybe 20. That first time is the longest. Yeah. It's like climbing a mountain. Not that I've ever climbed a mountain. I've walked up some parts of a mountain, but not a whole mountain, but that's a different topic. But it's that difficulty of, will you ever make it? I'm not gonna make it. Will I ever make it? And that doubt, pull through. So make sure you have time to set aside. It could take up to an hour that first time, but just sit there. Don't talk to the dog, don't touch the dog, just sit there. And you're gonna see your dog turning in circles, maybe pawing at you, again, just swiping him off, maybe jumping up on your lap. He's demanding you tell him what to do. And you are, through the silence. Remember we talked about that sound of silence? You are screaming with your silence. Nothing. Do nothing. How powerful is that? Do nothing. Can I have a day to do nothing? Would be amazing. Right? You can give that to your dog. We may not be able to take a whole day of nothing, maybe 5-10 minutes here and there, but give them that nothing.
Well, it reminds me, you said when you're not there, giving them direction, like every moment of the day, they start to realize that they can just calm down on their own,
yes.
or they don't have to be doing something.
Yes.
When I was operations manager at FedEx, when I was present, when I was available, people were asking me questions all day long, even stuff that they knew the answer to, or stuff that I knew they could figure out in no time if they actually thought for themselves, but they didn't do that. So when I made myself available every day, if I would not be available one day, then it was it interrupted the flow.
Yeah.
But when I actually got into doing more things where I was out of the office, and that was kind of regular, that I wasn't available to them all the time, I realized that, wow, they actually can figure some things out when I'm not here. They're totally capable,
you?
But they didn't realize that they could.
Right.
So they felt like they constantly had to be checking in. I feel like that's kind of
yeah, it's exactly what we're talking about. So remember we talked about some of those behavioral issues, anxiety, not being destructive behaviors, chewing, tearing up things. With the question we got today that we read off at the beginning, her dog was doing this because he was it's a couple different reasons, and they all have a little bit to do with the pie, all these different slices of the pie, but there's a couple different things. One, he would get himself so excited he didn't know what to do with himself. And then two, by all this destructive behavior, whether he was doing it intentionally or subconsciously, was demanding the attention of the guests, of the owners, of the other dog, because he didn't know what to do. And so he was demanding them to reach out and help him. So this settle the dog exercise, where you sit on the leash and you do nothing, start with start with your family at home. It doesn't have to be nobody, but just the family, where it's a calm, peaceful night practicing this. And then when you have company, have that leash on. When your company comes in, open the door, your dog's going to be freaking out, just kind of hold them tightly with the leash, go straight to sit down and sit on that leash. And your dog is going to be berserk. So maybe, practice this with some friends and family that are not going to be judging you or looking at you weird. But just, let him work it out on his own. And sometimes it's painful. As parents especially, we're so used to giving guidance and acknowledgement. Even as parents, it's so hard to just shut up. Remember that sound of silence? Letting them face that conflict, have a resolution, whether it's a good one or not, and then reflecting, cause and effect. Did that resolution work? Could I do something differently? Could I do something better? And letting them grow. It's so imperative to our children's development. It's the same for our dogs. Letting them figure it out for themselves. It's painful at first because you know the answer. You just can't tell them because they're not going to understand you, just like our kids don't want to hear you. Just let them figure it out for themselves. And each time you practice this, so summer's coming, have lots of company over, and just sit there and let him work it out. And each time you have company over, by practicing this exercise, he's gonna reach that state of calmness, that calm state of mind, faster and faster and faster and faster, until you have company over, you get that leash on before you even open that door, you walk to the couch, and as soon as you sit down, he's already laying snoring at your feet.
Yep.
What? That's how beautiful this is keeping them in a calm state of mind. It's so, 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 so loud and powerful to our dogs and to each other as humans, but we often take it for granted. We're just overwhelmed with knowledge and input and things calling us. The same is true for our dogs. So a lot of people ask, like, why does my dog need a cage? And why does its cage need to be in a different room? Why can't it just be in the living room? Or why can't I just let he naps in the living room. No, not like he would in his cage. Like, do you nap or sleep in your living room just as well as you do in your own bed? And yeah, you might be able to take a quick 20-minute power nap and feel great, but would you be able to rest there for 8 hours and get a full night's sleep? No, because your living room is an action spot. It's a hub of your house. Your ears are always looking for that feedback, even though you're sleeping, and you may not consciously know it. Mm-hmm. Your body is it has a self-protect mode, right? So even when you're sleeping and what your body doesn't consider 100% safe environments, you have people coming in, there's feedback coming in, your brain's listening. Oh, is that a door? Do I need to wake up? Is that a car door next door? Is that a car door at my house? Did my phone just ping? Do I need to wake up and check that phone ping? Like, there's so many things going on. When your dog's trying to nap in the living room, even though nobody's home, or maybe you're home by yourself with your dog and you think, oh, it's peaceful, we're just lounging in the living room, he hears that car door 2 houses down. He smells that person get out of their car 2 houses down. He hears that squirrel chirping and I don't know what sounds squirrels make. It's a chirp. I know, but click? What do you call it? What's the sound called?
It's like a
click clacking up in the trees.
Click, yeah. Click, clack.
Whatever they're doing. The birds. Your dog is constantly taking in feedback, even though he might be sleeping. So it's not restful versus conditioning your dog to just shut off in their crate. That's their sanctuary, that's their safe zone. That is where they can turn everything off and know that nothing's gonna happen to them in there. So that sound of silence, going back to the main topic, just again, so imperative to your dog's health, their state of mind. It literally is like a reset button. It just resets them. All of this wasted energy on taking in that feedback and collecting that input, it's stressful, right? Your body doesn't get to relax. And what does stress do? It increases releases cortisol into the body. What's cortisol? It's a steroid. What do steroids do? Well, 1, they make you gain weight, so ain't nobody got time for that. And 2, it decreases your lifespan. Dogs don't live long enough as it is. We want our dogs to live every minute longer than they possibly could. I will fight for every minute longer with my dog. So this is just something that you can do to help decrease that unnecessary weight in your pet, because there are a lot of overweight dogs, and increase their lifespan. That's what it's all about. Healthy state of mind is a healthy body and a healthy relationship and a healthy household. So,
bam.
Sound of silence, guys. Practice it. Here's my challenge to you.
Challenge.
I want you to practice settle the dog one time. If you want to do it more because you loved it, because you will, do it. But at least once. Just do it one time for me today, or I'll give you 24 hours. So if you can't get it tonight, tomorrow. And then post on our page. Post a picture of your dog laying at your feet.
And like she said, the first time is usually the most challenging. I would say, like, when we do this with dogs, the first time can take anywhere between 5 minutes and an hour.
Depending on how anxious or aroused that dog's state of mind is and how long that state of mind has been crazy.
Yeah.
And so pick a book. I got Let Dogs Be Dogs.
So get something you can be comfortable.
A good TV show that you like.
Yeah. Because you don't want to get up. Like, once you start it.
Yep. You have to wait.
You got to finish.
And then, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, it's kind of important. Do not get up until your dog's been laying for like 10 minutes. If 10 minutes seems impossible, go for 5. If 5 seems impossible, go for 2, and do not get up if your dog gets up. You have to wait 2 more minutes.
Yeah, don't let your dog go down after 20 minutes and then boom, you get right up. Like, you want them to be totally chill. And like, as you do this more, like, if it, I mean, obviously this is different for every dog, but if it takes an hour the first time, it's probably going to take somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes the next time. And it gets very exponentially smaller, that amount of time that it takes for your dog to chill out.
And when you do get up, don't make a big show of it.
Yeah.
Remember, we're working for a calm state of mind. Do not arouse your dog. So
That's
you
important.
could unsit off the leash, like literally just slide that leash out and drop it off the floor. Your dog's free now.
Right, because
if he calmly gets up on his own,
yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, because think about what he's going to be anticipating with this routine. If as soon as he gets calm for 2 minutes, you go, good boy,
all right, let's get up. You did such a good job.
Then he's,
you just erased everything you did.
How's he going to be able to get into that calm state
got up.
when he's anticipating you doing that? So yeah, that's key. When you do get up, you're chill. You're
And
just as chill as your dog.
Your praise, we love praising dogs. You can definitely, after you've practiced this a lot, not at first, because any sign of contact like this is going to arouse your dog. But after that 20-minute mark, it's absolutely to be like, good boy.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's your praise. Nothing more. Because if you're like, good boy, boom, he's up, he's aroused again. If you're, scratching those ears or smooching him on his face, just good boy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a pat, and it wasn't like a rub. It was just kind of like a little shake, like, good boy, and I'm done.
A very light gripped shake.
A light grip shake. I like it. So that's your challenge. Post a picture of your dog doing the settle the dog exercise, or you practicing the settle the dog exercise, and then any questions you have, like put your complaints if you need to, like, oh my gosh, it took me 40 minutes, or wow, it only took 2 minutes and he was like passed out on the floor at my feet when we had company over. Like, that's crazy. Post it all on our page. We want to hear how it's going for you. So
yeah, and this is so cool because, like, in different settings you'll realize that your dog is able to just calm down faster. So like, even things like people walking in the door, if that usually used to take like 45 minutes before your dog was just going all over the place, you'll see, like, that doesn't take as long. Like, they're able, they can just, like, they can see in their head, like, what calm looks like and how to get there.
Yeah, and I do want to clarify too, because some people feel like, oh, you're just going to turn my dog into a robot and he's never going to be happy. We're not saying we don't want your dog to be happy to see you or your company. We just don't want them to be so excitable and aroused in that aroused state of mind that they can't relax. Like, they can't shut off. That's not healthy. It's okay if they're happy. And happy, let me paint a picture of what happy looks like, because again, it's probably not what your dog is normally looking like, because most dogs do have an overstimulated state of mind. So a balanced, happy dog, there she is. So she's really hot, so she's probably not happy right now with us, but that's okay. Her tail was wagging a second ago before I turned it on her. I have to plug us back in before our battery dies, sorry. Got it. Ugh. I'm reaching. But a calm dog, so a happy, calm dog, the tail is going to be wagging, but slowly. So let me get my tail on the way here. So slow. There we go. I'll point it to a tail. Slow wag. That's a happy wag. If your tail's like, that's aroused. That's not happy. That's cray-cray. We don't want crazy dogs. We want happy dogs. So slowly wagging tail, and you'll notice that tail gets slower and slower each time you do this exercise. So again, it's going to be like, so excited that first time, and it's going to be like wagging really fast, but maybe the dog's body's not wiggling this time. And then maybe it's just that like, hey guys, I'm so glad you came over. Let's go have a seat. That's the attitude we're looking for. The ears are going to be loose. The mouth's going to be like kind of loosely open, like Morgan's panting, like, and not like, there's a difference. That's a happy smile. This is panic, right? We don't want panic.
It's like your kids, if you think about how your kids can be totally happy without screaming and running around the house, because that's what your dog's doing when they're acting like this. They're the equivalent to your kid screaming at the top of their lungs, running and bouncing off the walls. And now there may be a time and a place for that, like when you're out at the park
Or when it's actual playtime at home, not when you have company. We don't let our kids run around screaming half nude when we have company. It's not the place for that.
And like to be in that state all the time, like we talked about, like cortisol levels and lifespan, like you're dying. You're dying because you are in a state of anxiety if your dog or your kids are doing that nonstop.
Yeah.
I can assure you because I live it. Because we've got 3 little ones too.
We're dying.
We are
Somebody
dying.
save us.
So, like, yeah, like you don't want your dog in that state of mind all the time.
Right. It's not good for you. It's not good for your kids, and it's not good for your company.
And you're all dying.
Relax.
Just chill out.
Chillax. Chillax. So yes, let us know how it goes. For those that you missed the beginning of this, I am Crystal Neerman. This is my husband, Eric Neerman. We own the Dog Psychology and Training Center, and we were just giving you tips and advice on how the sound of silence is louder than verbal, physical, and auditory communication with your dog. So if you didn't catch this video, go back to the beginning and watch it because it's super powerful on building and strengthening the relationship with your dog and increasing their lifespan and decreasing their weight. So yeah, let us know how it goes, and we're looking forward to those pictures. So all right guys, we will talk to you next week. See ya!
Later.